Okay, we can go ahead and start.
Thank you. Well, the time I have is 5:31, so I'm calling the meeting to order, and I'll be calling the roll now. Laszlo?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Bill?
Here.
Nate?
Here.
Ursula? Okay.
Here, I'm mute.
Our next item is public comment. Are there anybody from the public who wishes to address us or make a comment? Hearing that there is no one, I'd like to adopt the meeting agenda. I need a motion from someone to adopt the agenda and a second.
I so move.
And a second, please. Do I hear a second?
Ursula, can you unblock yourself?
Can anybody?
Second, Larry.
Thank you. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Item number 5 on our agenda is reports from committee members and staff liaisons. Do we have anybody who has a report to make at this point in time?
None at this time.
Okay, thank you. Item number 6, discussion and action items. Approve action minutes for the local sales tax oversight committee meeting on March 8th, 2022. If we've all read it, I think we have. If I could have a motion to approve it.
I so move.
And a second, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is review and discuss committee's independent report to the town council regarding the revenue and expenditures for the transaction and use tax for fiscal year 2020, 2021. And the report has been prepared by our subcommittee, who did, I feel, an excellent job. Bill and Laszlo, I'll leave it up to you guys to carry it through, but I think it might be helpful. If you have some comments in the beginning, we'll take your comments first, but I want to take one page at a time. And if there are any comments, as we go through it, that's great. But if you want to make, anybody wants to make any comments prior to going through the report, here's your chance. Please do.
Yeah. Larry, I'll make some general comments. So we've done this before in the past. This is a standard template. The things that changed are the dollar amounts, the fiscal year, and in this case, the account numbers where money is stored. But we didn't find anything irregular from what we've seen in the past, and we're happy with how things are looking.
Laszlo, any comments?
I concur.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments from the members of the committee? Then let's move on to, I'm looking at what printed out of my printer is page 1 of 5 pages. And it starts with background. Is everybody able to review that? I'm really asking now, are there any comments on this page? At least I'm mentioning page 1 as the background and introduction.
I'll say, Larry, the background and introduction remain unchanged from last period.
Okay, any other comments that anybody wishes to make? And we'll move over to page 2. If you could look over page, at least my page 2. I don't know how it prints on yours, but it starts with summary of fiscal year 2020 and 2021, Measure K revenues and expenditures.
Larry, I just noticed something here. I think you alerted me earlier in the day that the major fund number has changed, and in the summary, it still has the old major fund number.
I'm gonna just switch over to the summary. Sean, do you recognize that as being changed too? Sean?
I had to unmute myself there.
Okay.
So I'm looking through it too also. So
That 7-Eleven has been changed, I presume, to Fund 213. It used to be 7-Eleven. Just wanted to make sure we were okay on that. Under conclusions, the first bullet, it does mention Fund 213.
well, the 213 is the payments that we have to make back. That's the fund account. The two is payments back for issuing the bonds to upfront the costs at the beginning of the initial program, where we did a large amount of initial work by bonding and pulling out money in the beginning. And so those are the payments back into that. So is Jeanette available to speak also? Are you able to? So are all our funding numbers correct?
We can change the fund number to 213, but it would also change the title to Pavement Management Program. That's no longer Fund 213 is a different, it's Measure K, correct, Annie?
Yes, Measure K is Fund 213, right? I think we're facing out 7-Eleven. That's my understanding. Isn't that the case?
Right. So what used to happen in years previously, all the monies got dumped into 7-Eleven, and we are tracking them individually. The individual pizzas that come into the program, they go into individual accounts, and so it enables everybody to be able to see what's flowing in and out individually for each of the funding sources, not just Measure K funds, but other sources that come in and come out of for the program. So that's why we have the 213 designation here, is to separate it out so you know what's strictly going in and out relative to Measure K.
Sean, is there still a fund is there still a fund 711?
There is still on our books a 711, but we've drawn it down. We're trying to eliminate everything that's in it. So, in a literal sense, yes, there is still a fund, but there's really not any money in it for this program anymore.
Okay.
Should the fund referenced on page 2 say 213 instead of 711?
We'll make that correction from 203. I'm sorry, from 7-Eleven to 213.
Okay, good.
And also, I think the gas tax would probably need to be added as well, because some of the funds come from there on the report, or do we just need to report Measure K money on the report?
Restate your question.
On the report, it references Fund 711, which is Payment Management Program. If we change the fund to 213, that's just a portion of the funds that are used to pay for pavement projects. Do we need to list on the report the other funds as well?
So on page 3 on your table, we're listing, we don't list the fund number, but we list the fund type. Gas tax has its fund number. Garbage vehicle impact fees has a fund number. All these these items on the left-hand column at the top of the page 3 table each have fund numbers. And the question was, would you like us to add in, in parentheses, each of those fund numbers so you know what the corresponding number is?
I think
Well,
it might be helpful.
Yeah, but I would suggest this, Larry. I mean, our mission is Measure K. And if the fund that Measure K is in is referenced on page 2, I think that's what it should be. All the other funds, Laszlo and I, we have to dig through that when we're checking things out, and that's part of checking Measure K funds, but it's really outside the scope.
Okay,
Sean, do you feel comfortable with that?
Yes.
yes,
Jeanette, comfortable?
I will make that change on the report.
Okay. Now, if we could turn to my page 3, which is the financial breakdown of the project. I have one question to start with, which surprised me a little bit. It shows that the garbage vehicle impact fee, we received $813,000. Is that right? Because
Yes.
in the past years, it was like, 100 and something, 200 and something, and now it bumped it up to 813.
Larry, last year it was 688,000.
Oh, it was, okay. Okay. Can Sean explain that? Just, how did it get up a couple $100,000 then? How does it keep growing?
Maybe Annie can, do you have that information? You're still on mute.
You're on mute, Annie. You are on mute.
Myself, okay, hi. What we'll have to do is look at the individual cash receipts. So let me go back to the office, pull individual cash receipts and see. There might be an increase in the fees. So without having the individual cash receipts, I wouldn't really, am not able to give you an answer. So I will have to look at last year's cash receipts as well as this year's and make that comparison. I can certainly look at it tomorrow and we'll send you the information.
But just from your knowledge, you think this is all from Republic Services?
It could be because garbage fees have increased. So I would think that any charges, corresponding charges will be increased as well. So, but I will definitely be able to provide a more, descriptive response after I have a chance to look at last year compared to this year's details.
Thank you.
Do you know how often we contract with New Republic?
That I'm not sure. Sean, do you know? Because not really sure.
Okay. Hopefully I'm not on mute. Okay, so yeah, there was a approved back in 2021, there was a new rate that went into effect, and which increases the garbage impact vehicle fees. And so a lot of it has to do with the state regulations on more revenue generation for programs, and as such, we get a bump up, and as it kind of we have a percentage of that, and it bumps up our revenues also. So there's new state mandates relative to garbage, and as those go up, we are seeing an increase in our revenues too. So that started back in March of 1st of 2021.
Let's just continue here. Other comments from the committee members that have any questions? I have one question. Seeing that I only took 2 years of accounting, so you got to excuse me. I'm not an auditor, although I do have a question. On the very bottom, ending fund balance, June 30th, 2021, $993,000. In plain English, what does that mean?
So I can explain that. So
Thank you.
basically, fund balance is the amount of money you have within that fund. What fund balance involves is all the assets less liabilities, plus your revenue minus your expenditure. That's your fund balance. So basically, it's sort of what the fund has in that fund. What type of funding is available in that fund, and the fund balance is you can use that fund balance to and appropriate them for expenditure use in the future. So fund balance, if you see a positive number, is healthy. It's a healthy fund balance.
Thank you. Yeah. So in other words, you can use it, the town can use it for the next project.
Correct. You can ask council for appropriation, allowing you to appropriate the funds from the fund balance for projects in the future.
Good. Thank you.
Thanks.
Committee members, any other comments or questions?
Well, I think it's worth noting that the fund balance is $2.4 million higher than it was July 1st, 2020. So that indicates is, Laszlo and I found out that last year wasn't a big year for work, but we collected revenue and we're gearing up for this year and next year.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as I recall, Sean indicated that this year is going to be a special year. We do quite a bit more work than we did in the past. Is that correct?
Yeah, we are in the midst of our what we call the worst first street program, where we're attacking the very worst streets as far as the PCI in the town. Over the years, we whittled this down into a small amount of the number of streets or segments that we're in a position where we can eliminate those. And so it's a residential program where we're looking at strictly residential streets that are in the very worst categories. And because of that, they are typically more expensive to repair, even though there's a limited number of those. And so we saved some money from the previous years because we have a bigger project in the next 3 years, or bigger projects in the next 3 years. And we need that money, that revenue or that fund balance to be able to do those projects.
Sean, did you say in one of our previous meetings that you're joining with Lafayette going out to bid?
Yeah, for the second phase of our 2021/22 project, which is ongoing, they awarded a contract with Lafayette was the lead in gathering all the bid documents together with 3 agencies, Lafayette, Contra Costa County, and ourselves, Moraga. And we have a joint road resurfacing project. It's part of the ongoing project. It's not part of the worst first. So it's part of the smaller project that's occurring right now. That's another reason we haven't spent all the money in that account yet, because we haven't completed all the work for this current year. It's our second phase, and we're ending the year with this project here, or the physical year, I guess, so to speak.
So it'll end June 30th?
Yes.
And then the next project will pick up from there?
Yes. We're currently in design right now for those worst first. So the intent is to have a fall project for the first year and have subsequent similar projects in subsequent years of the worst first type.
Just for the information of the committee and my information, if we see a pothole somewhere, who do we call?
You would call our public works office. It's 925-888-7026. It's our main office, and we can dispatch our maintenance staff to do a temporary filling of the pothole, and then we add that repair to a permanent, where we hire a contractor to go out there and do permanent repairs.
Thank you.
We have an annual repair project that addresses that within our CIP, separate from the general road projects.
I have a question to Sean. I have a question.
Yes.
Would it be possible to get a list of the projects that you're planning to do next year and the associated budget for it?
Yeah, so we did go to council recently with an update on the program, and the list of streets is in the agenda package, and I could
Once it's in-
after the meeting I can send you the document. But so I think it's about 3 meetings previously. We have that updated list of all the streets that we're proposing for each of the following 3 years.
Okay, I would appreciate that.
Sure.
Maybe we'll send it.
If you could send it to all of us, that would
Yeah,
be,
of course. We'll send it to all, and it'll also be posted on our project pages
Okay,
for the engineering, and I'll send you links to that also.
thanks very much.
thank you. Comments from other committee members? Okay, then I think we just move on to at least my page 4. And we come to, let me just see here. 2020, 2021 Measure K expenditure review. The committee sampled 87.2%. Significant. In total payment review project expenses. It kind of be interesting for maybe the other committee members, the others, there's only, I guess Ursula's is Ursula with us?
Yes.
Thank you. Just kind of review how you went through all those, all the documents to come up with that 87.2%, please. Not detail, but just generally speaking, what'd you do?
You want to go, Laszlo, or you want me to go?
Go ahead, Bill.
Right, so the largest amount of money that's moved is for the construction. There's costs for construction. In this year, it was Bay City's paving and grading. They were paid based on a progress pay estimate, and that was issued monthly. And so when we sampled these, we looked for the big money transactions, and we review, I don't know, a $400,000 payment for asphalt paving for the month of July. And we go through their billing, and a general contractor's billing his unit costs. They'll bill based on how many tons of asphalt or oil they put down or other things like that. And so we check the transaction to see that the money that was, I don't know, prescribed to go to Bay Cities actually went to Bay Cities, and it was corroborated by Bay Cities progress pay estimate. And that was the largest amount of money movement. There was also funds for the staff. When Moraga's staff was assigned to the job, there was some billing there. And there was also consultant bills. And so when we added up the dollar value of all the ones we looked at between the two of us, it was 87%.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Now can we drop down to the next area, conclusions? And if one of the committee members would like to go over those 3 bullet points, appreciate it.
I'll let you do it, Bill.
Sure. So, let's see, Larry, this is the same as the previous year. Major Fund 213 replaced Fund 711. That's really the only change. Also, is the amount sampled was 87%. That's specific to the audit. What does it mean? It means we're confident that the town is properly spending the money, and we want them to keep going the way they're going.
Laszlo, any other comments?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay. Well, it looks like then the next step is after a few changes are made, a few minor changes, Sean, you can give us some direction. We have to sign it, come into the office and sign off on the report. And so you tell us what's coming up, what do we do, and those type of things.
Well, first you'd make a motion accepting the report from the subcommittee with the changes as noted during the meeting to be included. And then as such, then we would make those changes and we distribute it to the individual committee members for signature, whether it's coming into the office or making some other type of arrangements. We'll always be accommodating.
Thank you. Well, in light of your comments, can I have a motion to accept and approve the report that we're going to submit to council?
I so move.
And may I have a second too, please?
I'll second it. Okay.
Thank you. And can we have a vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Okay, Sean, give us directions on where we're going and what we're doing from this point forward then.
Yeah, we will, again, we will summarize all the adjustment, or not summarize, but we will make all the changes that the committee requested. Circulate the document for signature, then it will be brought to the town council as a report. And we typically have somebody represent the committee at that meeting. It typically is under a consent item, but if there's any questions, of course, they would direct that to the assigned committee member for the item.
Excuse me, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No.
I was going to say, if my memory is correct, for the last 2 years, the report was just accepted by the council and no one made any presentations and there were no questions. Am I correct in that, my memory? They may have asked staff questions, but there was no one from the committee.
In recent years, I don't know, because of COVID, I don't think we've done it as Zoom, so I can't remember if anybody was in attendance from the committee. It does go on a consent item, which the town council can accept without any discussion. If they choose to pull it, then they would have a discussion on it. They would ask staff and any committee members that were present, whatever the questions would be. But it hasn't been pulled in the last several years, and it usually goes pretty smoothly.
Yeah, I remember 1 year, I think it was 2 years ago. Yes, it was just when COVID started. I was supposed to make a presentation to council. Now, the meeting started, I think, at 7:30. And by 12 o'clock, I think everybody was tired out and they didn't want to hear from anybody, including me. So that was a long wait. So what I'm really trying to say is, I don't know how important it is. Maybe you and the town manager can decide what you want to do on that. But if so, then one of our committee members could be ready. Excuse me, go ahead.
I have a question that the town council might ask. Is this the first year we've had an almost $1 million unused part of the annual budget?
I couldn't tell you if that particular number is larger than significantly larger than other years. I'll be happy to go research it and go back.
I'm just wondering, there haven't been any public or individual complaints about how their street is being paved and so on. So it's just, they might be surprised that you didn't spend the money that you were allocated for the year.
Yeah, and it goes back to the town council's plan of the worst first streets, and it's been purposeful that we would be building up some reserves to be able to pay for the next following program.
One of these years you won't have anything left at the end of the year, we assume. Is that it? Or
The next few years, we will be spending as much as we can based on what's available to get these streets, these first streets done. Yes.
I think it's a great thing you're doing. I mean, let's do the worst first. And also, Ursula, you know, from my experience being in public service my entire career, there won't be any money left over by the time we're done, probably. So,
Okay,
and that has nothing to do with the ability of the staff. It's just that we're going to spend the money for the purpose it was intended to be spent on. But that's kind of a tenet of government. We will spend the money,
okay.
which is good. This is what it's for.
That we wanted to work, exactly.
You're right, exactly. Okay, that's sort of it. And you'll furnish us, Sean, with any information we need regarding signing this. And when you're ready with the final document,
Yes.
you will be ready to sign it. And the only other thing I have to say, is there anybody else who wants to make a comment, staff or you, Sean? Anybody?
I just wanted to ask from Sean, when are you going to present this report to the council?
It'll be up in the next couple meetings. Let me lean over here and grab the magic schedule here. So it's coming on May 11th. So we have a meeting next Wednesday, and it would be the second meeting in May. So
I will be in Europe. That's why I'm asking. And
Oh, yeah.
I'm leaving this weekend. So
You're going to have to change your plans.
Now that's an idea.
yeah,
Well, that's a modest proposal.
Well, I can come in to sign the last page
Yeah.
this week.
yes,
You're just going to have like one sheet that we can, so it
Yes.
doesn't have to be
The
attached to the
signature
document.
sheet is not going to change.
yes.
Yeah.
So how do we go about that?
You can come into our offices, the Public Works office upstairs, and we'll have the sheet on the counter there for you to sign if you're available. Starting tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll come by tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks, Laszlo. So
Thank
you're
you.
where are you going, Laszlo?
Well, I will be going to the Iberian Peninsula from Lisbon to Barcelona, sailing. And then I will go to Budapest to visit my family.
Wow, gee, wonderful, wonderful.
I haven't seen them for 5 years, so it's
Oh,
not-
my word, yeah. We'll have a wonderful trip, have a safe trip.
Thank you.
Um,
Let's hope the COVID doesn't get us somewhere. I don't want to be in a quarantine in Lisbon for 14
No, no.
days. Okay, I'll come by tomorrow, Sean.
Thank you. Otherwise, I just want to thank the committee. I realize it's an unusual time. Typically, we're able to meet in person, and frankly, at least my experience has been on various groups, committees, commissions. It makes a difference when you're able to look somebody in the eye or see what they're thinking. I mean, otherwise we're looking at a screen and I don't know, it's just so different. It's hopefully though, we can get through a good part of this year with what we've been doing, but hopefully in the fall, we'll be able to meet face to face because the new projects will be underway. And Sean, when do you think the first project's going to be done?
The joint project with Lafayette has just begun. The three agencies that are working on it. I think it'll be within a month. They'll be in Moraga doing some work, but towards the end of the summer is when the plan is for the major resurfacing. So we got a little bit of time before they're full, they're just starting the project, and it's a large project with all the three agencies.
I think it'd be helpful when that project is complete, even if it's before our own project that we are going to undertake, that we have a meeting to talk about how things went on that project. And oh, by the way, do you know, going down Morago Road, half of it's been paved. Have you noticed that? I don't know if you drive down that way, but half the road has been paved and the other half hasn't been paved. They stopped
Moraga Road.
in
so-
Lafayette. In
in
Lafayette.
Okay, yes, so they paved, the upper section, yes. It's again, it's in Lafayette, so the limits, have to do with how much money they have to expend on it. I'm sure they would like to continue on, but I think that's what they could afford at this point.
Okay, just curious about that. Otherwise, I have nothing else. Anybody else would like to say anything? Then the meeting is adjourned, and thank you all for everything you've done. And staff, thanks a million as usual. Superb job. And we will talk some more.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it. Thank
man.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Meeting, where is it? I can't see. Is this lead meeting over here?
I'll get it.
Thank you, Larry. Have a good night.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.